3 different trades, $200 in gains, and 1 massive rug. These are all my trades from the last week and how I managed to recover and stay calm after suffering a very big loss and make it all back and even more. Okay, it is the next day, so it's a Saturday, and I've just woke up. Obviously, volume typically is lower on a Saturday, and I did make this article, and maybe I'm just got a bit of a bias against Saturday as well, but you know, we kind of have seen that all of the coins we saw yesterday that, you know, are running crazy like Hunter, we can see it's just been on a continuous downtrend. Friday or Thursday to Friday, we kind of, you know, dropped and pumped back up, but we've just been bleeding out. We've seen the same on some of the alien coins and a lot of the other coins which went on. Obviously, some are staying up like Goblin, but that's just the general kind of observation and not many new launches. But that's still not to say we can't make positions. Obviously, I closed out all yesterday. You heard me say, you know, that's my reasoning. I did make this position in the Hunter coin, and you can see I've got 15 Solana in. It's a 50 bin pool, 0.5% fee. And this range only covered in total a 30% range, so quite small. It only really started at 3.4 or 3.1 and only drops to kind of the mid 2 million mark, and it looks like we haven't had a lot of fluctuations. But as you can see over on Meteora, even within this range, because we're in this pool with the low fee and the lower bin step, even with these small fluctuations, we are actually earning both the token fee and the Solana fee, which we don't see on a lot of new launches when we have those higher base fee pools. Obviously for good reason, they're a lot more volatile, and in the end we earn more fees. But as you can see, even though it's kind of been dropping and it's not had any, you know, proper move up and down, we have earned at the current rate 0.15 SOL in profit if we closed out right now. Obviously very volatile in these type pools. If we drop straight down out the pool, I would be in a loss. But right now, yeah, that probably, yeah, even with that little drop, we are, you know, actually gaining some profit. And I imagine if I close out, it's a bit lower. Maybe Meteor's overestimating it a bit. But the reason I did this is we have already dropped a ton. This coin has been on a continuous downtrend from when it topped out at 17, reran up to 12. And from last night, it's been on a continuous downtrend. And all I'm hoping for is literally what's happened is it ranges a tiny bit in this very narrow range. And I could have, you know, made this actually wider and gone, let's say 2 positions in this pool, as this is the top TVL pool, maybe down there, you know, it'd probably be like 90 bins. I would still be in decent profit. I was just hoping for a little bit of ranging for this, and now I can go ahead and close out just for a small bit of profit. So with that all said and done, this has only been open around kind of 20 minutes, and we're already looking at almost a 2% fee on this 15 Solana position on what I would say feels reasonably safe. Unlikely we're going to see that massive drop. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. But this is the kind of thing, after these big drops, you can kind of rinse and repeat a bit almost. And we can see a little bit of buying pressure stepping in. But this is, you know, something that's, you know, I quite like doing. I think it's a good way to learn as well. Maybe a bit less pressure when we've had the full retracement on a coin that's been around for a few days. So that is a $26 gain. Kitty got hacked and actually ended up being a coin tweeted on his account. Obviously it was a hack and this coin will probably rug at some point. That doesn't mean you can have a quick position. There's a few options. You can go with obviously a one-sided spot downside. What I've just done here, as you can see, is I have made a 2-sided position. Obviously a lot more risky. You can see price is falling, but there is a ton of fees being printed in this pool. There's a lot of volatility, a lot of volume. I'd recommend one-sided spot, but if I time it right, I can zap out when we get back to the middle, close it, and end up with some profit. So I did manage end up to close the position. Could have left it open. Maybe it ranges down and back up, but there's a lot of risk with this kind of token. Huge fees, as you saw. I just made 0.4 in, you know, like a minute. But the risk with this kind of token is it could drop, you know, 50% in a few seconds as well. That's why, you know, just the overwhelming risk reward is to be in quick and out quick on this kind of super risky token. So looking at the chart now, the market cap actually just shot up. Clearly leaving my position open would have been so much of a better move, especially with how I entered. But how I did this is I used the zap in functionality. Now this is really, if you haven't used it before, it can be really useful. I only really use it for these 50-50 positions or one-sided token on highly volatile coins. Otherwise, one-sided SOL, I'll set up myself. But when I'm doing this, all I do is this kind of token, we need to up these numbers, right? Probably higher than that. And I go 50-50 and I just zap in. And obviously we're wanting to use the zap out feature as well. So I've just gone back, and as you can see, I meant to actually make a bid ask position. So I'm going to zap out of this, but the fees are huge. I just put 5 SOL in, already making a lot of fees, but I do not want this kind of position. As I said, did not mean to actually do that. Hopefully the zapping works. As you saw, I upped the slippage, but you're still struggling. We're definitely going to have to up some more fees and RPC settings because of the volatility on this kind of token. So little update, you can actually see I entered again stupidly and got caught in the rug. I actually printed a ton of fees on this, and you can see it won't let me close or anything or even make positions. But you can see I'm actually 1 SOL down, which, you know, is not too bad. I've actually made that over in fees because what I did is this range, I made a spot position, and this is the high risk play, right? When the coin is rugged, you make that spot position, you can actually make some of it back. And I've just got a bunch of, you can see I've got about 4 SOL of token. Luckily, that is okay. But what I want to do is refresh. I do want to deposit this again. It's because he deleted all of the tweets. So if it will let me re-enter, if it does pump up through here, I can just exit and I can earn some extra fees on the exit as well. So here is another bit of a relief bounce, and I definitely want to zap out in a second. If we can get a bit more of a green candle, I'm not sure we will. I think I just missed my opportunity. Still, you can see the crazy fees though. Definitely a crazy token. I still think it's worth pooling, but I don't want to zap out. As long as it doesn't drop right now, that would be very, very unfortunate. As I do think now this actually break even my other position. Okay, got another pump. Did we close out? Did I swap? Okay, it looks like we are out. So I think that might be me done on this coin. I think overall that would have been, I might actually be in a loss now because I kind of got slipped out, or maybe it's just in profit because it's so difficult to land transactions. You can see it did have another pump, but I tried to enter a bid ask and I know my range got messed up and it went straight through my whole range and I made literally 0 fees. Got out just for a small loss, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it's very difficult to land transactions now. So I think I'm going to call that a day, but saw a few things, making some fees early, but clearly got a bit too greedy, went straight through my range. Had to make an extra range at the bottom to earn some fees, which did end up making up for the loss. And I think this is what a lot of other people did, or more experienced DLMMers. And now we don't really know what's happening. Could go up, could go down. So I thought I'd add on this last trade for this video. Nothing too crazy. You last saw that RKC basically came out with 0. This is actually the next day. But what we have here is this just a coin. And this is just what I've been doing today. I didn't catch too many on record. You can see on one of the closed positions as well. Another 0.2 profit, another 0.2 profit here. I'm just finding these coins, going in. It's falling in my range. It's pumping out. I am taking that profit. Done that a few times with a balance of around 5 to 10 SOL, and I've come out with 1 Solana profit so far today. So I'm going to zap out of this before, it pulls right back into my position. I get a little bit of extra token profit. But yeah, this is something I'm probably going to be doing a lot more of, which is larger positions, but doing a lot of little positions, little bid asks, tiny spot curves, getting a tiny dip in fees back out and moving on.